dwindling on some of the stuff. So
I think it's just a further
what we
justification.
can do, I just want to be clear what we're going to do. So as far as justification, I think there's immensely more utility the larger vehicle you get, right, within reason. And so the utility is there with a larger vehicle. If you want to come down to price and look at, well, what would it cost if we did this, X, Y, or Z, we'll bring you several options that show here's what a 2023 is, here's what a 2024 is, here's what a crew cab is, here's what a single cab is, here's what do we quote a 1500? What a 1500 be and what the next step down would be, and maybe go the third step down from that so you can see those. We wouldn't recommend them, but we'll give you those price options so you can see what you're getting for your price. I think you'll find once we show you those numbers that really and truly you're going to get the best utility out of a larger vehicle.
I really think that you have done the due diligence on this, and we've run into this issue before. I believe that you and staff have done the due diligence on this. I think that you just need to bring us I mean, we've talked about some of these things anecdotally. We just need to define them more specifically. I think it's really just documenting the stuff that you've done. I think that would actually bring us up. There might be a couple of additional ideas on ways to further hone that. But again, based on my experience with staff, you guys have honed that pretty well. We just need to document that as decision makers to be able to justify that to the people that we represent and to ourselves.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah, because that's what I get asked all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so,
It's just really helpful for us to know. Again, it's trust but verify. We trust. We've seen evidence of some great cost savings measures, but it's for us to understand if we're like literally approving something, we need to understand why we're approving it and be able to justify that again to ourselves and to the people that we represent.
Understood.
Cool. Thanks. All right. Next item is consider and take appropriate action on approving a utility services agreement with Crown Money LLC and MKT 179 Investments LLC. For this we have Scott.
Okay, so this is the agreement with Mr. Terry Dickerson. Crown Money is Crown Money, and the other name you just read off are, what's that? MKT
179 Investments.
Yeah, those are two of his LLCs. As you heard earlier, correctly stated, Mr. Dickerson sold the back half of that property. So this is just the commercial portion up next to 90 that you've seen quite a bit of dirt work. It's right next to Alsatian Oaks. Some people think it's part of Alsatian Oaks because it's literally next door. But it's about a 50-acre parcel that's, again, excuse me, that is right up next to 90. And this is a utility services agreement to basically guarantee water and sewer provisions. Now, he is purchasing that, as I stated in your report. The water reservation is going to cost him just a little under $400,000. And what that represents is the actual cost of installing the water upgrades at the Medina Valley well that Alsatian Oaks paid for. So this is partly how we reimburse that developer for those investments, is through collection of these types of fees. He's also reserving sewer. The sewer will be at whatever impact fee we establish for sewer. The reason that price isn't fixed is because as you know, there was a sewer line installed, a 24-inch main that Ram 2 installed that has had some failures in it. And so we're in the process of determining what improvements need to be made to that line to make it usable, and then what those costs of improvements will be and how we're going to go about paying for that. And that's something that I'll more than likely be meeting with Flat Creek on possibly tomorrow.
I thought we already knew what the problems were at the meeting and everything. What was wrong?
We know some of them, but we don't know the full impact.
So that was a stamp in time. So that was back when we were going through that Ram 2 discussion. Right. There's been further settlement of some of those lines. We've had a massive drought over the last year.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so the things have changed, and so we have had that line reevaluated by K-Freeze, and there weren't massive changes from their initial report to now, but there are definitely some changes. Yep.
Councilman Dyer.
Does the city have any existing recourse with Ram 2 as warranty or failure to complete the contract correctly, or is all that done?
No, so soon after I got hired, we went through a settlement process with Ramp 2. So at the end of the day, I think this council determined that it was less expensive to settle and settle out of court than to try and take the person to court.
So when will we see the cost of repairing the 24-inch line?
I'll have that pretty soon.
And as a recap, just a reminder, because I don't know that everybody was aware of that as we went through this. This happened back, this is one of the reasons that we've got to be very careful about value engineering. And what I think happened is that there was some, they call it devalue engineering. So they had engineered some things out, some inspections, some other items that should have been included.
The
with-
big thing was inspections. They made
Yeah.
a decision not to inspect it.
Took the money out for inspections.
So that's why we've got to be very careful if the money needs to be spent to make sure that we have long-term viability and that we're not obligating further councils with the cost as has happened here. We just have to be very careful about that, and that's where we are. So again, as a recap for those that were not aware of this, as we have these different developers that are coming into our CCN, so the CCN is basically where we can serve water, sewer, power. As people are coming in, the systems have to be expanded. What has happened in the past was there was a massive system expansion expecting growth that didn't happen. And so we're having this real challenge of, if we're going to supply services to these people, we have to make sure that we have the capacity in place. So it's a very huge challenge, and I know that Scott has hit this really well, just head on, and I think that this is where some of your financial acumen, your financial experience has really helped us out, is figuring out how to make sure that the new developers, as we service them, are paying for these upgrades, and so that the people of, the existing people of Castroville are not. It's a delicate dance to do, but it's something that I think that you've done with amazing success with this, and so this is why we're looking at these different things. As we are committing to provide these services, we know that there are certain expansions that need to happen.
It's really about offsetting. I think I've heard Mr. Bedford talk about this, but it's about offsetting risk. So the types of negotiations that this city has embarked on in the past with Alsatian Oaks and now with these newer developers is to disassociate the city's risk with these types of developments so that they take the risk of installing all the infrastructure at their cost up front. And then if and when the development makes, then they get paid back for that infrastructure. And that's fair. That's happens all over the state of Texas. So I don't think we're doing anything unusual or untoward in that regard. And I think we're being extra careful as far as protecting the city from risk. But as far as this item is concerned, it's pretty straightforward. He's reserving water capacity and sewer capacity, the water capacity at a known cost, the sewer capacity at a future cost.
Is there any plan for a TERS there?
No. I mean, that'll be up to y'all, but no, I think the county, the county participation in the TERS, the first TERS that was done, again, that was done before my time frame. My understanding is the county, at least the county board at that time, the county commission at that time said that's the only one they're doing. And they would do basically one for each city or whatever, but that was it. At least that's what I've heard anecdotally. But to my knowledge, there's been no discussion about establishing a new TERS.
And that TERS did predate me, but so that happened before I had gotten on. I think before several of us had gotten on. But if you look at the way that was structured, I know that there is, although we're not reimbursing 100% of the revenues, so that was a misunderstanding. We're not reimbursing that through that agreement. But what it's done is there was a tremendous amount of on-site and off-site work that had to happen to make that to make it possible for us to service the water and wastewater in that. And that developer, if we had not done that,